Today I will show you exactly how to read liquidity and teach you the different types of liquidity you need to pay attention to. I'll also be backtesting 10 trades with these concepts to see if we would win money or lose it. So, what is liquidity? In simple terms, liquidity just indicates that there are a lot of buyers or sellers in the market. This just means that there's a lot of money being circulated, including a lot of people losing money, so this is why liquidity is important. There are two main types of liquidity: trendline liquidity and equal highs and equal lows. So trendline liquidity is fairly easy to understand and see in the charts. If we look here, we see each high is slightly lower than the previous high. As you see, there are 4 highs. And if we look at these lows, we see each low is slightly higher than the previous low. The trendline liquidity at the highs is buy side liquidity, and the one with the lows is sell side liquidity. So buy side liquidity is what we aim for if we are bullish, and sell side liquidity is what we aim for if we are bearish. Now that you know exactly what liquidity is, how to read it, and the different types of liquidity, let's see if I can use these concepts and actually make money backtesting. Alright guys, so we are on the backtesting software. I'm going to go ahead and replay it to, I don't know, Tuesday, May 5th. I don't know, it's just some random time. So I'm not really going to be worrying about necessarily trading in a specific session. I'm just going to be taking trades until we get to our 10 trades. So I'm going to set this balance at 50,000 to simulate a funded account. We're going to go ahead and start it, and then we will start trading just from the point on that we are right now. So just looking at price action right now, currently price action is looking bullish. We broke above this high. Broke above a lot of these highs, so right now price action is bullish. However, that doesn't mean like that price will be bullish, because there's also tons of sell side liquidity below, so there's always a chance that price could change. So since we were bullish, I would be waiting for price to engineer buy side liquidity, which it has not yet, so I would just be sitting on my hands and waiting. So we have buy side liquidity right here that we just engineered. So if price comes down and retraces close to this order block, I would be comfortable taking a buy position to target those highs. So let's see. Alright, so the idea was right. However, price just went up and took the highs regardless. So it is what it is. So price is still bullish. So we shall see what price does. So as you see, we engineered buy side liquidity again. However, I will not be looking to buy unless we retrace down into this range. So that was pretty close. I want to see if we get one more tap. Okay, so we tapped it. So I will actually enter this buy position. I would set my stop loss below this order block right here, and I'd set my take profit at these highs. And this isn't the best RR trade, but I'm confident in the setup, so I will go ahead and click buy, and we will see where this takes us. Alright, this is taking forever, so I'm going to speed up the candles a little bit. Goodness gracious, this trade is taking 10 years. Well, this is the first trade, so let's see how it goes. So far it's not looking too great. Oh, never mind. Spoke too soon. Alright, so price hit take profit. We're up $600, so our equity is currently at 50,604. Now we'll be looking for another trade, and we are still bullish, so we'd be waiting for price to engineer buy side liquidity again. We engineered buy side liquidity here, but I would want price to come into this order block if I was going to take that trade. And you see we almost did, but we didn't, and we might just take that high. So yeah, we did take that high, so I'm really not worried about trying to enter that right now. So we'll wait for price to show what it's going to show, and it's obviously continuing bullish, so if it wants to stay bullish, I'll wait for it to generate some more buy side liquidity. Okay, now we might be looking at something a little bit different. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. The 1 hour time frame is still bullish at the moment. Kind of have some trendline liquidity there, but I don't know if I really trust that. It's not super clear to me. Now this is definitely liquidity, and so we're in this 1 hour leg. So actually yeah, we're generating liquidity to the upside. I'd be okay with buying this. Now I'd place my stop loss at this low, and I put my take profit at this high, actually, because we're generating liquidity kind of like here, so I'd place it up here. So we're gonna go ahead and take this, and we see we did hit take profit. So that's our second trade. Our equity is currently at 51,495. Now if it goes to this high, that would have been an even better trade, which it ended up going to that high, but still, regardless, that's a win. So that is our second trade. We got to make sure to keep count. Now we'll wait again. So we're kind of engineering buy side liquidity here. However, I would not even look to like enter here. I would want to enter on this order block if we make it down there. Okay, so we got close enough. I'm comfortable buying and targeting this high because we are bullish. I have to adjust the stop loss a little bit because it's about a 1-to-1. So not the best RR, however, I'm confident in the setup, so I'll go ahead and take it. So we did take that out. Our equity, that was our third trade. Our equity is currently at 50,980, but now we are close to the order block that I wanted to potentially enter the last time. So this will potentially be an even better trade. Remember, that was trade 3. Let's go ahead and click buy. And boom, we did tap that order block and we took out the high. Order blocks are really good to pair with buy side and sell side liquidity, obviously with market structure. So I believe that was our fourth trade. Our equity is currently at 51,842. So we are still bullish. So we will wait to see if price generates buy side liquidity some more. It does right here. Now I would only be looking to enter once again if we take out this low and get close to tapping around here. Then that would be kind of what I would be looking for. Okay, so we tapped that. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm confident in this trade, even though price has been going bullish this whole entire time. So there's a high possibility that it eventually will flip bearish, but I'll just go ahead and take it anyway, just because, why not? Now you see how it's very, very close. Now, remember, this is all the 1 hour leg too, so it's also possible that we could go to these order blocks, but we'll see. So we're still going up. We're currently in profit, so it's kind of looking like we will take those highs. However, we're generating liquidity both ways. We're very close to the highs. Okay, so we did take out those highs. That was very close to our stop loss, but it did not get hit. So I believe that was the fifth trade. I'm kind of losing count slightly. Our equity is currently at 53,143. So if this was a eval, you would have passed your eval in about 5 trades. So we are still bullish, so we will wait for buy side liquidity to engineer. It kind of engineered right there and then tap this order block, but I don't like that engineered liquidity. Just isn't good enough for me. Okay, so this looks a lot better. However, remember what I said earlier is price has been bullish for a long time. So how long will it continue to be bullish? I do not know. Eventually it will flip. That's something that I do know. So we tapped into a lot of these order blocks. We tapped into this order block. We tapped into this one. Tapped into here. So I would just go ahead and take this and I would cover this low and I would go for that high. So it would be the trade that I would take. So it did get taken out. So I believe that was our sixth trade. Our current equity is at 52,612. And let me make sure. So yeah, the 1 hour is still bullish. I'd be confident in taking one more buy, but I would set my stop loss just a little bit below that low, because maybe it just wanted to retrace a little bit before it goes up. If this loses, then it is what it is. All right, so that was taken out. Our equity is now at 52,087. I believe that was the 7th trade. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. So we are now bearish on the 1 hour time frame. So now we will wait for price to engineer sell side liquidity if it is indeed bearish. So it looks like that might have just been a fluke. However, let's continue and see. Okay, that was not a fluke. Price was just going up and faking out. Okay, so we are bearish currently at the moment, so we will be waiting to see if price engineers any sell side liquidity until then. So okay, so we have some sell side liquidity here. Now it is more of a thing of where would we find our entry. You got to keep in mind that there's this fair value gap up here. So if we retraced a little bit higher, I'd be comfortable possibly taking a sell. So now we generated equal lows. So if we came up into here, we could potentially sell. However, with that gap above, I don't really feel too comfortable with that. Okay, I like that. So now I feel comfortable selling. So we're gonna go ahead and sell. We're gonna cover that. We're gonna aim for the equal lows. And we're gonna go ahead and sell. Boom. So that was hit. I believe that was our 8th trade. Our equity is currently at 52,790. And I believe we are still bearish. So we will wait for more engineered sell side. Okay, so we're kind of starting to engineer sell side. However, if I was to enter, I would want to see price tap up here. We do have this order block here. However, I don't know if I trust that too much. So yes, we are indeed bearish. So if we gotta slow it down. So I'm gonna go ahead and sell. Let me look at the 1 hour time frame real quick. So there's definitely a possibility that this will fail. However, it is what it is. We're going to aim for a 1 to 2. We're going to aim for all this sell side liquidity down here, like all of this, and we will see what happens. Yeah, so it's looking like it's going to take that high out, but that's okay. That happens. So that was, I believe, our 9th trade. So we have one more trade. Our current equity is still 52,262. So very good. In fact, it might just be taking that out, and it might actually just be a higher time frame trade. However, we are now bullish technically because we broke above this high. So if we engineered buy side liquidity, I'd be looking to buy from like one of these order blocks here, but we have to wait to see if that's what we generate. We did generate buy side liquidity, but I don't think this would be a good RR to even get in here. So yeah, we did generate a lot of buy side liquidity. So you could have bought there, but it wouldn't have been, I don't think it would have been a good RR. You want to look for a 1 to 2 at least, usually. Okay, so we generated liquidity. Again, buy side liquidity. If we look at the 1 hour chart, I mean, there's really not many places to enter. We do have this 1 hour order block here. So if we zoom in on the 5 minute, yeah, there's not many places to enter. So honestly, if we came into this 1 hour order block and then reacted off of it, that would be ideal. However, we did not. We just came down to here, and then we reacted and then went higher. But I'd rather enter off an order block or a fair value gap, but typically order block. So we are still bullish. I believe we have one more trade, so we're kind of just waiting for price to just do its thing. We'll keep in mind this order block right here, because that's always a possibility. However, I don't see any engineered liquidity. I mean, technically, okay, this is engineered, but okay, now it engineered liquidity. Now the thing is, there is nowhere for us to really go to target that. But if we came down to possibly this wick, I would think about targeting that, because trying to enter right here, it wouldn't be that great of a risk to reward. All right, well, we got close to it, but we did not tap it, so I wouldn't have entered, but the idea was right. I haven't seen any engineered liquidity yet that I like. We're still bullish on the 1 hour. We tapped into a 1 hour gap. That's why we're moving away like that. So we're starting to engineer buy side. If we get some like more, I kind of like that clear buy side with this order block right here after tapping a gap. However, price went straight for the high, so no trade. Again, price is still bullish. However, I'm going to wait for it to generate liquidity. It's generating liquidity here. Now, let's look on the 1 hour chart. There's not really anywhere for it to go. There's an immediate rebalance right here. But there's also a gap starting to form as well. So, yeah, I would say, yeah, so if we could, and now I want to use the long position, if we could possibly get down here, I think I would be comfortable taking this. Okay, so we have generated buy side up here. Now, there's also this order block down here. But regardless, this will be our last trade, more than likely. I just want to double check. Yeah, so we're coming into that immediate rebalance, and there's a whole 1 hour bullish order block right there, so which is right here. So I'd wait for it to just dip down just a tiny bit more. And then I would, oh, it's still on sells. Okay. And then I would be looking, where is the TP, to enter at these highs. If not, then we'll end with a loss. And it still went that direction. So the trade was right, entry was wrong. I believe that was the 10th trade. Our equity is sitting at 51,740. Incurred some losses. However, we're going to go ahead and complete this session, and we're going to look at the stats. So 50% win rate, not the best. We incurred some losses that probably could have been avoided. 10 total trades, total P&L 1,740. So as you see, obviously those last two losses took $1,000 over P&L. However, if we kept trading, the P&L would keep going up. I do believe that. So using liquidity, we are able to get 50 to 70% win rate, along with market structure and other confluences like order blocks and things like that. So the most losses we incurred in a row was 2. The most wins we incurred in a row was 2 as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video.